Yo, what's going on? Yo, it's Terry, Team Regal Industries in the building. It's been a minute for sure, but we on, man. Had to do some planning, have some patience. We back at them. Team Regal Industries, for people that don't know, is a logistics consulting company. We specialize in the transportation industry, working with carriers, brokers, freight forwarders, dispatchers, agents. Man, we can work with everybody because we have everything everyone needs. And this channel is going to be dedicated to us achieving the result of creating more transparency in the industry and to man, create more freedom for people, to be honest with you. I've had the privilege of working at directly at freight brokerages before, and I'll show you guys some proof of that or evidence of that in some other videos. And with that exposure that I've had to this industry from a freight broker perspective, I learned all of the ways that they're able to capitalize and exploit their relationship with the carrier by not revealing the information involved with the entire transaction. When I learned that and also had to be a part of the downfall of a lot of carriers, and I didn't like that very much. And so I spent a good 3 or 4 years of the end of my corporate career working at companies with the intent of doing nothing more than learning as much as I could about what they were doing, how they were operating, what a customer was, all of the strategies that they did, how the profit and loss worked, SOPs, so standard operating procedures, really everything. And I was already doing the job, so really it was just a matter of me taking the time to look through financials, the invoicing pages, whatever they gave me access to. I started to dig into that and remember and keep record. And I did that for about 3 years, basically just collecting information like I was a spy, get a paid spy. And when I went into entrepreneurship in 2020, my goal was to ensure that I revealed to everyone what brokers are doing so that everyone can benefit from the relationship that you can have directly with a shipper, where every bit of the compensation is coming to the individuals who built the relationship and who are doing the most to maintain it. And but also because as business owners, we should be in direct contact with the person who or with the source. So quite often we get really comfortable as Americans, as human beings in this digital and massively, this speedily moving trajectory of technology and advancement. We are surrounded by lots of examples that would indicate to us that this is okay, but it's not okay. We definitely need to understand business in the right way. And one of the right ways to operate in business is be directly connected to your client. And in this case, the client is the shipper, and the shipper is the source of all the freight. So like, here's an example of how we live with that sort of relationship, and it's okay and it's normal to us. If we think about going to get some food from a fast food restaurant, I'll go to the restaurant, I pull up, there's someone who takes my order, and then I get this food, but I never got that food from the source. Everything that I end up with that I purchased was all purchased and processed prior to me knowing anything. And most of us really don't even know how they're doing that. We have videos of it, but for the most part, we're oblivious to how most of these companies that we are patronizing, how they source and how they manufacture and manage the relationship that they have with our source, our food, our sustenance. And we're okay with that. You know, people went to McDonald's or ate at McDonald's for decades before anyone was like, hey, wait a minute, these chicken nuggets got some shit in it. Or, hey, man, the fries actually are cooked in beef tallow. You know what I mean? Like, think about the amount of people who were going to McDonald's to get the fries and they was vegan, not knowing that the fries is getting cooked in beef fat, right? Like, but this is what happens. And so in the industry, that's what happens as well. So the freight broker who has this direct relationship with the shipper who is the source of everything, and then the freight broker passes this information down to the carrier is going to the freight broker for the opportunity, very similar to how we go to a restaurant to have somebody else prepare the food for us. This means that I'm agreeing to allow someone else to manage my health if it's food. And so, as a carrier, if I'm a carrier and the source of the freight is the shipper, but I have a whole nother company that is in front of me managing the relationship with my source, then you would have to expect for there to be some sort of complications with your finances, with the frequency and reliability of the relationship and the freight you're getting. And you shouldn't expect to, like, I don't know too many people who are going crazy on McDonald's and they are in great shape, you know, unless you're doing something to mitigate that. So, what I'm gonna do today, man, I'm about to look at some of these videos. We're gonna get some more content going for y'all because, as you see, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. And man, but my goal and my purpose for all of this is to create jobs. I'm a business owner. You know, I have all of the same elements in my company that another company does. There may be some flaws. There may be something inconsistent about it. But there's some flaws and inconsistencies with all businesses. So again, I'm still aligned, and I would love to get the cooperation of other people to help me to achieve my goal of educating people who otherwise wouldn't get this information to be able to have jobs that they can work at home. They can structure and build their day and their livelihood however they want to, because this is a skill that no one can ever take away from you. Like, I worked at those freight brokerages for 10 years plus. What I learned there, I didn't learn in school. You know, I learned about the supply chain in school, warehousing, you know, logistics management, excuse me, people management, different sort of warehouses processes and the different applications that go along with that. When you're talking about Lean Six Sigma type of processes, location strategies for large corporations looking to move and expand their businesses, labor law, um, and this was me in supply chain, and logistics is a part of the supply chain. Transportation is a part of the supply chain, but no one ever talked about this part of it where we're doing the transportation and working with a broker. Like, that has its own little realm, or working directly with the shipper. That has its own realm, because what we're learning about the supply chain, they're teaching us as if we are the shipper. So no one can take this away from you. No one can stop you from interacting with this industry, as long as you understand how to do that in a way that doesn't break any rules and allows you to create beneficial relationships with the people involved. That's what I want, man. I'm a veteran. I'm a black man. I come from the inner city of Chicago where there's not tons of opportunities for people. And I take my responsibility as a business owner very seriously. And I want more people to give me their money for me providing all of these things that I've learned, and it's all the things that no one at the brokerage will ever teach you unless you work there. So I'm giving. My on school, if you go to school.com/Team Regal Industries, you'll find a free 7-day training along with an ebook that teaches you how to relate yourself appropriately to the people in the industry. It's a very entry level, but it's high level. Well, most people think they're learning about dispatching. That is, really you're just learning about three activities that you can do. But those activities that you can do as a dispatcher are just a couple of things that a person can and should know how to do when you're interacting with a person who has an authority or MC number. My training, this training, the freight acquisition management methodology, is far more advanced than that. It has all of the elements included to make you think. It also has all of the elements included to make people in the industry respond to you with the answers that you need. And again, that's because I've gained access and now I'm taking what I learned and providing you all that information so that you all can get access also. And yes, I want your money too. So go get that free training. It's a 7-day free training. Go check that out. Been pushing my line back for years, so forgive. But it looked like a helmet. I ain't even gonna lie. I need to take me up. I should have cut my hair earlier, but I'll do it later. So here we go, man. We're gonna jump into it. So as you see, I already got it pulled up. Some freight dispatching videos. I had to hit the filters so that I could pull some from today because most of the videos are really old. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump in here real quick. Let me see how much time we got on the Clizox. And then I'm gonna jump in here real quick and we're gonna get at a couple of videos. Your schmiggada. Let's see. Where can I see my time at? I wanna see how much time we've been going. There we go. Okay, so we 12 minutes in, bet. All right, so let's start with how to set up a freight dispatcher home office, the beginner guide. Okay, let's do it. In 6 minutes? Oh, that's gonna be a quick one. All right, let's see what she said. I actually kind of don't want to watch
Hi, my name is Alex, and yes, today is my
this. That's not even her. Pass. Pass. Nope. Come on now. Look, she used her real face, for the thumbnail, but a fake face or some kind of filter for the video. I'm okay, baby. I'm good. I get it. I appreciate you though. Yeah. Should we like it? Nah, I ain't gonna like it. Fuck that. All right, let's see. Delilah's Law, the end of foreign truck dispatching. In this video, we break down Delilah's Law and what it can mean for truck dispatchers. That's 16 minutes. Is he speaking English?
Known as the Delilah Law, which banned overseas dispatchers working outside the U.S., Canada, or Mexico.
Okay, so he wasn't speaking English. The world's most wanted freight dispatcher, POV, true crime story. Let's see what this is. This looks interesting. Yeah, y'all check out my other channel.
The screen flashes red.
Check out my other channel too. It's called Terry L. Campbell on YouTube. The handle is Melanin Man. That's melanin and man with 2 N's on man. And on there, I'm going to be doing a lot more social commentary, comments and reactions to relationship videos. But this one is going to be transportation related specifically, but I bet you're going to end up getting a little bit of some of that other stuff too. It's hard to resist because it's all intertwined. There's no difference between business and personal.
Another declined card. You stand there while the line behind you sighs. You leave the groceries on the counter. Dinner tonight is tap water and whatever is left. No anger, just the quiet hum of a failing life. The rent was due yesterday anyway. 30 years old with nothing to show. Your logistics degree is just a piece of paper. You avoid her eyes. There are no words left to explain why the fridge is empty. Final notice. Eviction in 3 days. The system doesn't care if your kid is hungry tonight. She asks about the new dress. You smile and lie. It breaks you from the inside. One message from an unknown number. Just an address and a promise to fix your debts. Desperation makes you blind. You put on your only clean jacket and walk into the rain. He smells like expensive cologne and cheap motives. He buys you a coffee you cannot afford. The envelope is thick. He calls it an advance for optimizing some delivery routes downtown tonight. You don't ask what the cargo is. Logistics is just moving boxes from A to B. The noise makes you flinch. He doesn't even blink. That is the difference between you two. He taps the table twice. A simple job for a smart guy. Just route the trucks. The parent company. That is what he calls them. You pocket the cash without looking back. More money than you have seen in 2 years. All for drawing lines on a screen. She asks if everything is okay. You tell her you got a promotion at the firm. A beautiful lie built on dirty paper. Tomorrow, the eviction notices go straight into the trash. You buy her future with a blind eye. You tell yourself it is just specialty produce. You open the software. The first expedited shipping route is ready. There is no turning back. The new desk is polished wood. No more rusty chairs or unpaid bills. Just pure, sterile efficiency. Glowing green dots crawl across the digital map. Each one is a truck carrying special...
My bad. What I noticed was on the scene where he talked about the eviction letter, some of the words are not, they're not words. So look.
Tomorrow, the eviction notices go straight...
On the second line right here, those are word letters, but this ain't paper. This is not a word. This is not a word. It says this paper, not a word. You know, so that's what it'll do sometimes, the AI, when you're creating these videos. And so that was a part of one of the videos I was doing, and it did that. And I was like, nah, bro, I'm good on you giving me the wrong words. But I see you can get 1,500 views and it don't even matter. So.
Straight into the trash. You buy her future with a blind eye. You tell yourself it is just specialty produce. You open the software. The first expedited shipping route is ready. There is no turning back. The new desk is polished wood. No more rusty chairs or unpaid bills. Just pure, sterile efficiency. Glowing green dots crawl across the digital map. Each one is a truck carrying specialty produce tonight. The accountant hands over the ghost manifests. You sign them without reading a single fabricated company name. A few keystrokes reroute tons of cargo around highway way stations. It feels like a video game. Red ink hits the paper with a heavy thud. The shipment is now legally a frozen fruit delivery. The manager points at a risky border crossing. He says the exceptional toll fees are already handled. You press the talk button. You tell the driver to activate the jammer at the designated mile marker. A cheap black box blinks red in the dark cabin. The truck vanishes from the grid instantly. You sip your premium coffee and smile at the accountant. The darkness feels completely normal in here. The dot reappears 30 miles down the road. The expedited shipping is successful. Your bank account grows again. Bright lights reflect off marble floors. You buy the silk dress without checking the ridiculous price tag. The machine beeps green instantly. No declined cards anymore. The parent company pays very well for discretion. Her eyes light up holding the expensive fabric. You hug her tight, burying the guilt deep inside. Your wife smiles at the 6-figure balance on the screen. She stops asking about your late shifts. Steam rises from prime steak on fine porcelain. You chew the meat, tasting the privilege of silence. Monday morning brings a thicker folder. The manager wants 3 trucks moved through the tightest northern corridor. Your hands move over the keyboard on autopilot. The chilling part is how easy the crime becomes. Crisp bills of lading hide the truth beneath layers of fake companies and forged signatures. Absolute perfection. You give the final clearance over the encrypted radio. 3 massive vehicles roll out under your command. He pats your shoulder with genuine approval. You are no longer just surviving, you are the system. The night shift is usually quiet. Then the encrypted radio crackles with a panicked, breathless voice. Driver 7 stopped off grid. He sounds terrified. He opened the frozen specialty produce against protocol. The freezing temperature inside the trailer was a lie.
Okay.
He saw what the parent company transports tonight. The manager storms in, eyes cold and dead. He unplugs your headset without saying a word. You sit frozen in the leather chair. He tells the crying driver to remain calm and wait. The blinking dot on the screen represents a man realizing his life is over. Panic sets in. He hands you a new destination, an abandoned scrapyard. He says the contract must be canceled.
Okay, this is just pretty much like watching a show. But you know what? I'm gonna like this because it's actually pretty interesting, but it's kind of getting away from what it is that I was thinking. Let's go here. This was from 11 days ago. Oh, that's 56 minutes. Oh my God, these are so long. Oh my goodness, this dude. Oh, he went live. Okay, these are live videos. All right, let's check them out. This is from 3 weeks ago. This 30-minute video. I'm with it. Carrier broker agreement and truck dispatching. How to fill a carrier packet.
Is currently dispatching 12 trucks. Trucks in her freight dispatching company, and she only works 1 day per week. Yes, I said that correctly. She's dispatching 12 trucks within her freight dispatch company, making over $100,000 per year and only working 1 day per week. This is the future of freight dispatching, and the future is here now. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how she did it and how you can too, and the bottlenecks and pain points to look out for, so you can make sure you avoid those and launch your business as efficiently as possible. So I'm going to get into the slides here and share with you why most freight dispatch businesses struggle, but you really don't have to. So the reason most freight dispatch businesses struggle is because they start the business completely backwards. They learn dispatching before they build a business. The last department in a freight dispatch business is the actual dispatching department. So the real question every founder must answer is, where are the trucks coming from? Because if the business isn't attracting drivers, there's no trucks to dispatch and there's no revenue to be made.
Okay, hold on. So, skip the source of the pipeline. Most people start a freight dispatch business completely backwards. They focus on learning dispatching, but dispatching is actually the last department in the business pipeline. The real question every founder must answer is, where are the trucks coming from? Because if your business isn't attracting carriers, there's nothing to dispatch. Where are the trucks coming from? Okay, maybe I need to hear more. It's not resonating
So
just yet.
the source of the business, every single business problem, every single business pain point comes from being misaligned with source. When we align our business with source, everything flows naturally. So the source of your business is your business idea. Most people start with learning freight dispatching. That's the operations department. But your business idea controls everything else in your business. Your business idea controls how many customers you will get, how much revenue you will make, where your business gets to. Your business idea affects your family, the life you get to build for your family. All that is coming from your business idea, which is the source. So to start a business, you need the idea. You need the business idea, which is the source of your business. And then that plays into your marketing message and your visibility in the market. This attracts drivers into your pipeline. If your idea attracts drivers, everything else in the business begins to flow. So you market your business idea through your marketing department. So actually your marketing department is the first department you build in any business. This can be hard for a lot of new business owners to understand because it's just the business owner working in the business. But you have to realize you're wearing multiple different hats. You have to realize when you're wearing the marketing hat, the sales hat, the sales department hat, the onboarding department hat, and the operations department hat. Most freight dispatchers come in, or most founders who are looking to launch successful freight dispatching businesses come in and they straight throw on the operations or the dispatching hat, and that's the only hat that they ever throw on, and that's misaligning the business with source. When we think of businesses, we just need to think, is this business aligned with source, or if it's misaligned? Because that's the cause and effects are going to, if the business is misaligned with source, we're not going to arrive at the effect that we want. So everything is cause and effect. So when we want certain effects in our business, as business owners and founders, we need to ask ourselves, what causes that effect, right? So we have a great business idea. That's what we.
So while I almost called him Marcus, while Antoine was talking, I had some questions that were coming up. And so I went and looked up source of the pipeline because I wanted to know what that means. And so the result came back and it says the source of the pipeline refers to the starting point, origin, or raw input of an automated process, data flow, or supply chain. It is where the information, materials, or leads first enter the system before undergoing processing, transformation, or transportation to a final destination. In data and technology, data pipelines, and data engineering, the source of origin of raw data. In business and sales, in sales and marketing, here we go. The source refers to where potential customers' leads originate before moving through the sales funnel. Boom. All right, I'm on board with you. Gotcha. I'm on board with you now. The way it's being explained is not quite landing on me. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with it. I'm saying it just wasn't landing. So, but I like this so far. I'm on board with them.
Start with first, right? Most people misalign their businesses because they come in with.
But I don't know if we should focus on this first. Because, see, I've always learned to definitely prospect, but you would need to know who your client is, what their pain points are, and have some solutions in mind prior to marketing. Because if I'm going to be putting out a message to someone, which is what marketing is, right? Or I guess that would be advertising. Maybe marketing is identifying the people. So let's see, actually. Let's see what marketing means. Because I'm getting some wrinkles. I like it, though. I love learning. All right, let's see. So marketing is the strategic process of creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society. So marketing is creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings. So then what is advertising? Advertising is the paid, controlled communication of messages to persuade, inform, or remind a target audience about products, services, or ideas. It is the paid, controlled communications. So the key aspects of advertising is that it's a paid component. The purpose is inform potential customers, and then it is designed to influence customer perception, often appealing to both rational and unconscious desires. Okay, so advertising is the paid version of marketing. So the key aspects of marketing is the 4 P's: product, price, place, and promotion. Form the foundation of marketing strategies. It's customer centric, so it focuses on satisfying customer needs rather than selling. This is what I was saying too. And then goal is to build brand awareness, drive engagement, and create long-term value for both the company and the customer. Okay, let's keep going.
With the exact same business idea that the market already has, and this causes your potential customers to look over you. So you want to have that business idea and you want to start marketing it to owner operators through video, social media content, driver education, and visibility in the market. This is you building out your marketing department. And the better your marketing department is, and the bigger you build out your marketing department, the bigger every other department, because every other department can only be as big as the energy in the marketing department. So you want to come into the biz when you create a business or launch a business. The first step is the business idea, and the better that business idea is, naturally people are going to come into your operations department. So
I think when he's saying a business idea, I think what he's saying is the purpose for you starting the business. What's my man's name? He wrote Start with Why and The Infinite Game. I can't remember his name. I'll look it up. But he talks about that, having a purpose. And if you have I'm looking up the book, Simon Sinek. And so he says if you start with purpose, if your business that you start, the reason why you're creating it, A, solves a problem for humanity and society or culture, and then B, has a purpose, the purpose should be behind solving some sort of problem. So my business, like I explained in the beginning, I started it because I wanted to create jobs for my people who don't have access to these things that I've been able to gain access to. Purpose. And I think that would fall in line with the business idea. And so now I market that information or I build that information into the marketing materials. And so when I do market and advertise, that's a part of what it is that we're communicating to our clients when we're reaching out to them.
So you start marketing with that business idea.
And I'm waiting to see if he says something about utilizing automation to create the marketing. That's huge.
And as you market more, you draw more interest. So it's basically your marketing department growing. As your marketing department grows, owner operators naturally start filling up your so as your marketing department grows with interested drivers, they naturally come down to the sales department automatically, right? We don't have to fight for them to come down to the sales department, because if they like your business idea, they're going to want to get on a sales call with you. Now you take off the marketing hat and you put on the sales hat. So now you're working in your sales department, but the whole objective of starting a business is to work yourself out of each and every one of these departments, right? So it's just you in the beginning wearing each one of these hats. So drivers like what you're saying in your marketing department, they're going to naturally come down to your sales department and get on sales calls with you. Now, if they like what you say on the sales call, if it sounds good, what are they going to do? They're going to naturally come down to your onboarding department and sign up with you. And that's where you're going to give them your carrier packet or your dispatch agreement. And they're going to sign that, and they're going to give you back their certificate of authority, certificate of insurance, and W-9. Okay, you got all the paperwork. They're going to naturally flow down into the operations or the dispatching department, and you're going to be dispatching for them. Most people come in and learn and put all of their energy into this department, not learning any of these departments and any of the other departments, and not building out any of these other departments. So
I
since
agree.
most people 97% of the market starts here, and that's
Right.
what causes failure, because they start learning dispatching and load boards, and guess what? Completely forget about a business idea. Where we figure out our business idea, they forget about this. This is what matters more than anything. For the entire time you're in business, this is what matters, not the operations department. So naturally, we need to get back to natural law and saying things from truth and not opinion. This is truth. If you build out this department, you're going to automatically build out the rest of the departments, right? If you start with dispatching, you're going to make it very hard for yourself. I know this is hard sometimes for new business owners to understand, but what you got to understand, you actually do have to have the business idea and start building out the marketing department. And in the beginning, if you're doing it by yourself, you may not be or know that much about the operations or dispatching department. That's fine. That is business. It's going to feel a way like you don't know that much about that department because you haven't built it out. But so what happens when you start marketing your business? You start getting leads in the marketing department, and they naturally start flowing through every other department. And basically, if you, let's say you're in the beginning of launching your business, nobody knows about you. As you start getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 50 people interested in your marketing department by hearing you speak about your business idea, they're going to start coming down. It's alignment. They're going to start naturally coming down through the rest of the departments. And then once you sign up a driver to dispatch, just like me, once I signed up that first driver, it's just rinse and repeat. It's just you go back up to the marketing department, then you hit it even harder. So basically, once you sign up the first driver, you get them down in the operations department and you learn a lot and you get some on-the-job training. Then you take things that you learned by dispatching that driver and you shoot that information back up to the marketing department and market that in your videos. And that's going to draw even more leads down to the, and you keep doing it. This is what business is. It's a repeating process. And you're just funneling people the whole time you're in business. You're funneling people down through the pipeline. How you can be the best dispatcher possible is by growing this department, right? Everything I know about dispatching owner operators, everything I know about running trucking businesses came because I grew my marketing department, and that gets me a consistent amount of leads and a lot of leads in the marketing department to naturally flow down to the dispatching department so I can dispatch the most amount of drivers, right? So if you want to dispatch a lot of drivers, you got to start in the marketing department, and you have to start with the right business idea. So how business really works, basically, if this business idea isn't strong enough, when you market it in the marketing department, no drivers are going to trickle down to your sales department. So if you're marketing that business idea and nobody is reaching out to you to get on a sales call, what you need to do is make that business idea more valuable. And then you need to increase the KPIs, or the key performance indicators. You need to make it more valuable and market it to more people. So that's what you want to do in business all the time. Increase in value and increasing the amount of touch points, the amount of times you're touching your potential drivers. And that's going to lead to more people coming into your sales department. So people that can't, let's say, if you can't get any drivers, it's a misalignment in one of these departments, either the marketing department or really the sales department. You have misalignment in one of those departments, right? And how business used to be, if you don't have any drivers, you have pain points in your business. How business used to be, you used to come to people like me that know how to get the particular. I have a member within my program that helps you launch your freight dispatch business. She has 12 trucks. She still works her full-time job, and she only works in her business 1 day a week. She works in the dispatch business about 1 day a week. The majority of her work is done 1 day a week. This is the future of launching businesses. I'll get into it and shortly and tell you exactly how she's doing that. And another thing, another pain point I see in the market.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey man, that sounds crazy to me. Hey bro, you kind of lost me a little bit. Yo, she dispatching 12 trucks and work 1 day a week doing that. and you still going to a full-time job, it sounds like there may be some issue in her marketing department. Why not just get as many trucks as you need to not go to work, right? Like, why would you want to go to work? It seemed like, because if you, okay, all right. So if we, okay, listen, man. So either this person, either something about this is not up to snuff, or this person is greedy, bro. Just greedy. Or, man, I don't know. I think probably greedy would be what I'm thinking, because, or something ain't right, right? Because if a person have a full-time job, okay, actually, you know what? Fuck that. 12 trucks. First, we don't know which trucks there are or what kind of trucks they are. So I'm going to just say if it's a box truck. All right, on average, I'm going to look it up real quick. You all are watching this tab over here. So as I move on, I'm going to get OBS so that way I can have multiple screens that you all can look at and see what I'm doing. So let's see. Let's do what's the average monthly revenue for 26-foot box truck owner operators in the U.S. Yeah, we want the whole country. Run that. Okay, so a 26-foot box truck owners in the United States typically gross between $5,000 and $14,000 per month, while high-performing solo operators often seeing $12,000 to $14,000 a month, which is true. In high-demand roles, average annual gross revenue commonly ranges from $114,000 to over $200,000, though net income is significantly lower after fuel and maintenance. So we're saying the average monthly gross commonly cited between $9,500 and $14,000 a month. Often ranges between $5,000 and $8,000. Okay, so let's say she got 12 trucks. Let's say that each one of those trucks is making, it's a weekly gross between $5,000 and $8,000. And then the average monthly gross is $9,500 to $14,000. So in 1 week, let's do 7,000. So we got 12 times 7,000. This is if each one of them is making that amount. So that's 7,000 a week. So that comes out to $84,000. Most dispatchers are at somewhere between 8 and 10%. That number can be lower, but I'm gonna go with what the average is. And I'm gonna look this up right here. Let's see, what is the average percentage dispatchers charge carriers? All right, let's see what it say. That way I can. Okay, boom. Independent truck dispatchers typically charge carriers 5 to 10% of the gross load, with 5 to 8% being the most common range. Rates can vary based on equipment and experience, ranging from 4 to 7% for consistent, high volume or large fleets, up to 10% for specialized loads, hot shots, or new authorities. So, what they say, 5 to 8%. So we can even say, let's go with the, let's say 7. And then that'll be times 7%. That's $5,800 for one truck. She's dispatching 12 of them. So $5,880 times 12, that's $70,560 a week. Why is she still, that's $282,000 a month, something ain't right.
Most people are just learning dispatching. You can't learn to operate a successful freight dispatching business just by learning dispatching. You actually have to build the dispatching business. So just by learning dispatching, most freight dispatchers never get any trucks or never generate any revenue because it's misaligned. So basically, to manifest revenue, customers come in contact with your business idea.
And I'm going to say this too. The only way that she is able to do that is if whoever the person is that the freight is coming from, that person is more than likely communicating directly with the drivers. And so if that's the case, they would mainly just be sending her over the rate confirmations, and then it would be her job to send those in for invoicing, because that's what they do. So what I'm thinking is that this is some sort of dedicated lane that they're all running, and every week there's a reconciliation that needs to happen. So more than likely all of the they're collecting all of the PODs from the shipments that they're doing, and then one day a week they're putting in she's doing the invoicing all at once, because they're all probably running either the same lane or a lane that's very similar. That's the only way she's doing that. There's no way you can work one day a week and dispatch 12 trucks if all of them don't have if they're all not assigned to the same dedicated lane, and because they can all be assigned to the same dedicated lane, but if you have to still do the track and trace for those, which that does need to be done, you're not working one day a week. And unless these carriers are only picking up one shipment one day a week, so if all 12 of them are picking up one shipment once every week, and it's the same one, yeah. But this would mean that there would need to be some sort of dedicated lane that these carriers are all working on simultaneously at the same time, or what was I gonna say? Or yeah, it's some sort of, they all got to be doing the same thing. There's no way each of them are running their own lanes independently of each other, and she's working one day a week. Ain't no way, bro.
And your business idea is what manifests revenue. If your business idea sounds really great, customers are going to automatically flow down through your pipeline.
What's her business idea that got 12 trucks and you can work one day a week, man? Why are we not talking about how she doing that shit?
But if you just start with dispatching, you're going to be trying to force yourself up. See,
And
most people do exactly this. They
the
learn
first part.
dispatching. They get a dispatch agreement.
I'm trying to be patient, but now I want to know how she doing that.
Let me say that one more again. That's a
He's
very
still
powerful
up there
statement.
again. Come on, bro.
Idea.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on. I don't want to skip too much. I want to see when.
So the goal of the revenue launch system and the goal of any
So did he ever get to the
right state of consciousness into your system, getting it aligned with the right state of consciousness?
That's a big document.
It's going to return cash flow to you. It's a system. It's a system, right? Your mind pumps the system up, and then the system returns cash flow to you. Easy as that. That's a business, right? And if it's not doing that, then it's a misalignment with source or with the business idea in the system.
Did he make it down?
This is how business used to be before we got on fake business. I'm wanting to turn real business, corporate level business to the market. And the reason I wanted to do this, because with the success I'm having in my revenue launch system, I want this success to spread. And basically what I'm doing with the revenue launch system, just before I get into telling you how I have one member with 12 trucks and she works mainly one day a week. So the goal of the revenue launch system and the goal of any implementation program, such as your freight dispatch business, is you should be able to learn the market from within your system, not from the market. Like the market, everything we think, you got to realize when we think about the market, that's other people's businesses. You don't get into business to think about other people's businesses. You get into business to rise your state of consciousness far and above the general market. And that's what I do. That's what I do. So being said, the general market does not mean anything to us in the revenue launch system. We could care less about what the market does because we're focusing our energy on what hasn't been done, and then we're doing that. And that's what we got to get back to there too. That's what business is supposed to be about. We're not supposed to just be making basic statements that the rest of the market is making. And as a real businessman, I never do that, because if I just make basic statements that the rest of the market is making, I'm not going to have a great as effect on people as I could if I'm just
Hey, hey, wait. I'm okay. Now he just said that they're not focusing on that because the market is not what they are focusing on, because they're creating, which I get that, right? You want to be original. But he also just, wait, I'm going to play it back.
been done, and then we're doing that. And that's what we got to get back to there too. That's what business is supposed to be about. We're not supposed to just be making basic statements that the rest of the market is making. And as a real businessman, I never do that, because if I
Okay, he says a real businessman, he never makes statements that the market is making. It's right there. As a real businessman, I never do that.
just make basic statements that the rest of the market is making, I'm not going to have a great as effect on people as I could if I'm just saying the same level of energy. No, I want to rise the market up, right? So you want to, your implementation program, your business should teach you more than anything. So saying my revenue launch system, it teaches me. I can't learn anything by looking at social media or anything like that. I'm learning within my system, because it is basically manifesting the answer, manifesting the solution. So I see the solutions within my own business, and then going back to how business used to be. Something like a freight dispatch business, you should want to start that to see how the system works, and for it to teach you, and then for you to be able to teach the market from the results in your system. But that's not happening in freight dispatcher right now. You can tell if you do any market research and see how people market these businesses. They're not marketing from truth. They're not marketing from something that's actually happening inside of their implementation program. That's how you can kind of see how much momentum people have. You hardly won't see anybody marketing like that in freight dispatching, because most people don't have drivers and most people aren't generating any revenue. So they can't speak from truth. They can't say, oh, these are the results that I'm having within my program, and this is exactly how we got there. And freight dispatching, I believe it is $1 million business, and most people don't generate revenue because the business is misaligned, right? Freight dispatching is a very great cash flow business. You can print a lot of money using by your business idea. And freight dispatching, having that great business idea is going to allow you to basically print money and make money off of your business idea. And as you increase that business idea, you're going to be increasing your cash flow. So you're basically making money off of that business idea and aligning the
Is anybody else noticing he be repeating the same thing like 6 times?
market with source. Yeah, you have the source, you have the
This
best
could be a
idea
15-minute
in your
video.
mind, and then you market that to the market, and you align the market with source, with what is right, because the market's wrong. The market's wrong. The market does not have the answer. The market is misaligned.
He
Freight
preaching.
dispatching is misaligned. The trucking industry is misaligned. You're not going to
Ah,
find the answer on the without.
yeah.
The answer is going to come from the within, and
Woo.
you tell the story of that truth or that answer through your marketing. That's how it's
Preach.
really supposed to be. And then your business can have momentum and you can actually be manifesting some results. And it's not just, I can find you the highest paying loads.
Heard.
With me, it's not just, I'm a freight dispatch trainer. It's not just that. It's about the results that we're actually getting. You want to be results based. So we go get into that in a minute, how my member has 12 trucks. She works 1 day a week. That's the future of business. The future of business is not getting into a business, trying to learn everything possible about the business, and then trying to do everything yourself and trying to build it all yourself and figure it out. That really doesn't work anymore because it takes too much momentum out the business in the beginning. Usually the owner gives up because, we're too misaligned. And basically that's what happens even with freight dispatching businesses. The business is so misaligned because we don't get it right from the start.
This part I agree with. I agree with him totally on this, is that there's a lot of people who are in business and they don't understand what it is that they're doing. Most of us in this country don't come from business minded families. So, especially if you're a black person, most of the people who are black in this country, your family doesn't come from business. Our families come from servitude, or at least that's how we supposedly got to this country, or why we're still here. And that servitude didn't involve us understanding the inner workings and mechanics of any sort of industry in the United States. Our experience and our ancestors' experience with any industry in the United States has always been with us being a worker, and usually a worker on the lowest level. We weren't creators of businesses, innovators of businesses for whatever reason. So now in the United States, or in any country, I don't know how it works, but I think it's pretty easy. No, actually, I think in the United States it's probably the easiest to start a business. And all you need to do is register with your Secretary of State, fill out that paperwork, and then go to the IRS and get an EIN, and now you're a business. You go get you a bank. You ain't got to have a business bank account. You can just have a regular bank account. I mean, it's very easy to just start doing things. There's a lot of people right now who are on Facebook selling food and they don't even have no LLC. They ain't got no business. They just jumped on to Facebook and just started going. Because in order to start a business at this time, all you need to do is be on Facebook. They got a whole marketplace right there, billions of people who come every day looking for hot Cheeto balls. So I agree with him. People are definitely not aligned properly as it pertains to what business is and what sort of processes that need to be in place for you to learn from. So just like Antoine, people need to be coming to people like me because I've worked in this industry for longer than a lot of people are alive. And I've absolutely earned every bit of that. And I'm creating processes and curriculum, ebooks, and opportunities for people who are coming in. And I'm spilling my guts and telling y'all everything. So that way we can benefit from not only the compensation that comes from this, but being able to teach our children something that no one can ever take away. The only reason why somebody wouldn't be able to be involved in the transportation industry is if they, obviously, if they're breaking the law, right? But we're not talking about that. You would have to not try to get into it. That's really it. Just try not to get in and you won't get in. That's really the only way to keep you out of it. And so this is something that people can do while they're in college. Kids could do parts of this when they get out of school. This allows a parent to be able to homeschool their children, right? Because if the parent is doing that, if you could dispatch 12 trucks in one day, okay, she's starting to sound like a neglectful parent. I don't know if she got any kids or not, but she's starting to sound like she neglecting them kids, bro. She's possibly making at the median or probably low end. She's making $282,000 a month. And you still leaving your kids to go to work? I bet she still make them go to school too, and she ain't even teaching them this. We're gonna find out. But again, I agree with him about this part, is that people are miseducated, they're misinformed, and they're misguided. And we do need to work more together because you're not able to do everything in your business alone. I'm a business owner and I am the only person in my business right now. I am interviewing for team members and partners as we speak, and I'm marketing and advertising, also creating all of that, reaching out. I don't do much reach out now. I have people who do that on behalf of the company while I do this, and then also look for higher level opportunities because like we could be working with freight brokers and not just booking them with carriers, because my strategy teaches you to go to the source of the freight. And with us going to the source of the freight, this allows us to be able to write our own ticket. So again, I agree with him. School.com/Team Regal /Team Regal Industries, teamregalindustries.com. Check it out. I got everything you need there. Back to the video.
Then people start thinking, oh, this business doesn't work, or oh, you can't get any drivers, or you can't make money in freight dispatching any longer. And you can make money in any business as long as the business idea, as long as you have a good business idea, because money is made by people being attracted to your business idea. So no, I never could say nobody will be attracted to that business idea, or I never could say you can't make money in freight dispatching. No industry works like that. It's kind of common sense.
The only thing I'm disagreeing with him on as far as the idea is concerned is the fact that he keeps saying it like that's what people care about. Like most of the carriers don't give a shit about your fucking idea. They don't care because I made the phone calls to him and told him I'm a veteran. I have a nonprofit organization. I have a daughter that I was taking care of. I've been married. I had a house. I had cars. I had all the things possible that would give the impression that someone should work with me and patronize my business. And they didn't give a shit about that. They don't know. They don't care about your ideas. What they care about is what it is that the business should be focused on solving a problem. If we're coming into dispatching, we need to understand what the main problem is that carriers are having. We can talk about fuel rates, we can talk about mechanical breakdowns, we can talk about all of that, right? But all of those things are solved or they're all purchased or corrected with money. So if the carrier is making enough money, those things become inconsequential. When you're not making enough money, those things are issues, opposed to them just being a part of the business. And so if we're working with brokers, so most carriers, they come into this industry, and when they're learning to get to drive trucks, the CDL driving school is telling them get on the load board and work with brokers. Dispatchers, when they're being taught what to do, and Antoine will say it in a little while, they're being told to go and work with brokers on the load board. When brokers come into the industry, they're not being told to go and work with carriers. They're not being told to go work with dispatchers. Matter of fact, they're not being told anything. They already know they need to go to a shipper because a shipper is a source of the freight. When freight forwarders come into the industry, they're not looking for carriers. They're not looking for dispatchers. They're not looking for freight brokers. They're looking for shippers. The only entity in this industry who does not go looking for shippers is a carrier, and his agent, the dispatcher, is also getting that same sort of training. So this puts the carrier at a disadvantage, because if the carrier is getting his loads from the broker working with the shipper, the carrier doesn't know anything about what the broker and the shipper talk about. He only knows what the broker tells him. How you gonna make money? How are you making money? There's somebody in between you and the person that's actually paying. Just like with fast food. How are you ever going to take control over your diet and your health if you're consistently allowing somebody else? Look at how many people like, hey, I don't want to buy food from the grocery stores no more. I want to get land and I want to have a farm and grow my own. That's because people want to go straight to the source. So why would I work in transportation, working with a dispatcher who is finding me relationships with a broker so that I can make part of the money that I'm making in order for me to buy land so that I can farm my own groceries, my own food. But meanwhile, the exact thing that I'm doing with the exact thing that requires my energy from that food, I'm not even getting that straight from the source. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make, and so that's the problem. And that problem of disconnection from the source of the freight is exactly what's been going on in this industry probably since its inception. Because every carrier does not realize they could be talking directly to the shipper. They either scared to or they lazy, one of the two. Dispatchers don't know they can be talking straight to the shipper. Scared or lazy, one of the two. Over here at 10 Regal Industries, though, you schmiggada, I'm going to let you know something. We can talk to shippers, and we do it all day long. And the people that I'm training, they doing it all day long. And they finding shippers, and we're getting relationships for our carriers directly to the source and not funneling them into a pipeline of other carriers that are working with this broker. So he is right, but I would like to inject that. And I would also like to point out that we are 23 minutes into this video, and he ain't said nothing one time about a shipper. Not once. We were talking about building relationships. We're talking about making connections that are beneficial. We're talking about making money and the carriers being able to make money, but we haven't talked at all right now about how to go about doing that. He talked about marketing. He talked about sales. He talked about the operations department, which is dispatching. And was it marketing? What was that other one? It was one that was second. I don't know. But he didn't even get into detail about how to sell, what sort of strategies work with selling to carriers our services. He's just saying if you got a great idea, that's what they're going to buy. All right.
Like, you don't come to a point in time where it's like, I can't make any money anymore in this business, right? Freight dispatching is taking off bigger and faster than it ever has. And the reason it has, because I have given infrastructure to freight dispatching. I have thought, how can I build some of the biggest and best freight dispatching?
Is this nigga
Dispatching is taking off bigger and faster than it ever has. And the reason it has, because I have given infrastructure to freight dispatching.
Oh my goodness. Damn. Hey, that's a bold statement, bro. Wow.
Up bigger and faster than it ever has. And the reason it has, because I have given infrastructure to freight dispatching. I have thought, how can I build some of the biggest and best freight dispatching businesses? How can my customers still work their full-time job and build a business at the same time? Because what I want to happen, my customers to be able to work their full-time job, start building a business, and that business revenue exceed the income for their full-time job, and then they be able to quit. All right, that's the
12 trucks, right? 1 day a week, 282,000. How much fucking money is she making at her regular job? But again, they're not giving us no numbers. He not telling us nothing about the trucks, nothing about the operation yet. Maybe he gonna get to it. He been running this little ticker at the bottom for the whole time, so maybe he gonna get to it at some point. That's
The
crazy.
easy way, right? We want that money to be coming in and surpass your full-time job while you're still there. Then you can quit. Now you got security. I want to give security, right? That's something I teach the members in my program.
Gee, $282,000. Dude, I can't wait till we find out, because times 12, all right? That's $3,669,120. This is if she's booking on average. This is an average. I did 7%. It said between 5 and 10. So this would be the average. And we looked at what the average was that box truck drivers are making. We don't even know if it's box trucks. If it's semis, dude, oh my God. If it's a semi, dude, hold on, let's look at this. So let's do average revenue for, let's do 53-foot dry van. All right, let's see. What's the average monthly revenue? Dude, the average monthly as of early 2026, 53-foot dry van owner operators in the U.S. typically gross between $16,000 and $25,000 per month, $200,000 to $300,000 annually. Okay, so that means, all right. So if she dispatching for 12 semis, all right, and let's just say, we'll say 5%, all right, we'll say 5%, all right. So so the average is say 16 to 25,000. So let's just say 20, we'll say 20,000. Each one of them make a month. That's $5,000 a week each truck is producing. All right. So, and this is the average. This is based on me just, picking a median number. So it'll be 5,000 a week times, we say 5%. That give us 250 for that week. That's times 12. 3K. That's 12,000 in a month she making. In a year, it's 144,000. So maybe that's more it, right? Maybe that's more it. Let me make sure my math right. So we at 20K. Yeah, that's right. Let's divide that by 12. No, that ain't right. Sorry. So we have 20,000. That's per month. And let's go times, oh yeah, I see what I did wrong. 5%. Yeah, I went down below. That's $1,000 a week. And so times 12, 12,000, right? And then as times, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Hold on, why can't I do math? So 20,000, and then that's per month. So if she had 5%, 20K, I'm glad y'all can't see this screen. 20,000 times 5%, they give us $1,000. She got 12 trucks. Okay, I see how I got confused. So that's $12,000 for that month that she would make. and then we're gonna multiply that by 12. That's 144,000. So I mean, maybe this is the case, right? Because that's a whole lot less than what the box truck driver would be, but we went down on that percentage, right? If she got a higher percentage, it could be more than that, but and hopefully we'll find out. But 144,000 a year, for me, I'm good. I ain't going to work. I make $12,000 a month. I ain't
Right.
going to
Don't
work.
just say you want to book the highest paying loads. You want security. You want safety. You know, you want to give your owner operators a peace of mind, right? I know if I'm just teaching the normal dispatching information or the basics, that's not going to help anybody to get a peace of mind, to have security, financial security in their household. No, if I'm just teaching the basics, that's just going to teach people to be dispatchers and never generate any revenue. And that's not what I want to do. I want to build out some of the biggest freight dispatching businesses this industry has ever seen, and I'm already doing it. Let's get into it. So what alignment looks like? So when your business aligns with the source of the pipeline is the business idea. Everything begins to flow. Marketing, sales, onboarding, dispatching. See, that's the cash flow. You got to have that flow. If you don't have that flow, it's misalignment and you're not going to have cash flow. This flow right here is what makes the cash flow. Learning dispatching alone, it does not make the cash flow, right? We came in business to make the cash flow. I think I done said cash flow enough times. It creates momentum in the business. It creates pipeline acceleration. I have so many people over the years saying, you know, oh, I just need a dispatch agreement. I just need this. But they never think anything about pipeline acceleration. I want pipeline acceleration because I want a different life for me and my family, right? That's
I want to give somebody some of my pipeline acceleration.
what's going to give you a different life for you and your family, pipeline acceleration. Family, right? That's what's going to give you a different life for you and your family, pipeline acceleration. So in life for you and your family, pipeline acceleration. So inside my system, like I said, we got 12, we have a member dispatching 12 trucks. She still works a full-time job and she only works 1 day a week. So I get right into it, how she's doing that. How she does that is me and my team, we run every other department besides her marketing department. So this is the future of business. She markets her business. She creates videos with her high value business idea. Because as the founder, the only thing she should have to worry about is that business idea. She markets that business idea and gets leads in the pipeline. We fully operate her sales department. Me and my team are her sales department. We take her sales calls, her onboarding for her drivers, getting the dispatch agreement, W-9, certificate of authority, certificate of insurance. We do that. Her operations department, dispatching the drivers after they sign up with her in the onboarding department. I and my team take care of that. We are her operations department. So basically, this is the future of business, and the future is now. The old way won't work.
Got it. Okay. I got it now. But I'm gonna let him
So
finish.
basically, she works 1 day a week, creating her social media videos 1 day a week. We then edit those videos, schedule those videos to social media, and release them during the week. When people inbox her, me and my team, we take care of the lead generation, responding to her inbox messages. We respond to her comments, and we in the inbox messages, we get those leads on scheduled sales calls. So that's the lead generation or the lead nurturing. We handle the lead nurturing for her. So we handle the lead nurturing for her. We get them on sales calls with salespeople from my support team, from our support team. So is our support team, because the support team I have is also the support team for my members. So we get the drivers on sales calls. So you don't have to learn sales calls no more. That's one of my points too. See, that's too much learning. See, people are going to think, oh, I have to learn. The learning period is over. That's done with. That's over with. But people won't realize that. You don't start a business these days by learning all the information. Why? Because it's 2026 and it's an extremely high amount of information you would have to learn. And then even after you learn that information, you're starting the business as a beginner, right?
Okay, so real quick, I just thought about it. Did I or did I not say someone else is interacting with those drivers? It ain't her. Because there ain't no way you able to do that in one day. What'd I say? Now, I was wrong about the dedicated lane, right? Now, actually, we're going to find out that he is doing and saying old things. And the idea that he came up with was, instead of having this person, because see, she work a full-time job. So she's not going to be able to perform all of those functions in the job. But she more than likely has enough money to pay for his training. And so that's what she did. She paid for his training. And he, more than likely, or somebody, got the idea that she could pay for the training, and his people, if her social media is good enough, his people would be able to manage this for her, which I get that. I'm not saying nothing wrong with that. That's great that his team can manage those shipments for her. That means she's getting a small percentage because she's not doing anything. So it is her business for sure, but she's getting a small percentage. And this makes it like a ready-made, do-it-for-you business in a box. See, she probably doesn't want to learn it. She probably don't want to learn it. She probably wants them to do it because she sees that they are specialized in that. And it would make sense for her to stop doing her regular job to learn something else. And she probably can't learn all of this and really get involved in it the way that she wants to. So she sounds like she a business person. And more than likely, she said to them, it sounds like you all need to do this. It sounds like you all need to be doing this part because I ain't got time for it. But hopefully we'll figure it out if he explains more, like, because right now all we know is that she work a full-time job. It's 12 trucks. And we just learned right now that him and his team are managing it, which is allowing her to be able to work one day a week. And what she does is she creates social media and then they post it and schedule it. But again, he ain't said nothing about the AI.
This way, by a team already running before you even join, the team's already running and you just plug in directly to that team. So you start your business off with that high amount of value. And that's what's going to build, already building some of the biggest and best freight dispatching businesses you will ever see. Some of the most revenue generating freight dispatch businesses you will ever see. So she just makes her videos and she doesn't do anything else besides that, right? That's how business is supposed to be. She just increases her
Let's see if he ever says the name of her company.
Online visibility, and that's all she has to do.
Talk about marketing and advertising,
doesn't even
right?
have to
Like,
speak to the drivers.
Okay, yeah, right. All right, yeah. I bet you whoever comment on this video, if you made it this far, if you comment on this video at this point, now I just paused it. I bet you he is not going to say the name of the company. He is not going to say the name of this lady's company. And if he does not say the name of his company, of her company, man, that's a big time injustice.
In her inbox,
That's
right?
a big time
So
injustice.
this allows her to put a lot more energy into what? The source.
She dispatched. She marketing advertising. So yeah, that's what she'll get a chance to spend her time doing. Hold on, I want to see how many views this got. Where's my? Oh, there it is. All right, so this video got 520 views. So that's 520 potential clients clients in any way for either one of them. So there would be other carriers who may want to call this lady to work with her because of this. There may be other people who want to join her business as a result of this success. And if he does, this would be him being a great business owner by promoting and doing some marketing and advertising without her having to do it. Because remember, she going to source, which that means she doing all the marketing, she creating all the videos and content. But this is a video and content about her. So let's see if he say the name of her company, whoever make it this far and you comment on the video, you post your Cash App, I'll send you $100. The first person post a Cash App and say he say the name of the business, I'll send you $100, man.
The business idea. And by us being able to put more energy into source instead of the nitty gritty, tedious, load boards, swiping through load boards all day, that takes too much away from the business owner and the main objective of
Got him. Got him. What that say right here? Right. So this allows her to put a lot more energy into what the source, being able to put more energy into source, tedious, load boards, swiping through load boards. What I say in the video? What I say? Working with brokers.
source, the business.
Because the source of this is shippers. The source is not brokers. So, come on, man. What'd I say?
Idea. And by us being able to put more.
He also said in this video that he doesn't say or put out the same thing that anybody else is doing. He not that kind of man. Literally. Still working off a load board with 12 trucks and you ain't talking about no shippers. That means you're doing the same exact thing and you saying the same exact thing. You said the same exact thing other people in the market do.
More energy into source instead of the nitty gritty, tedious, load boards, swiping through load boards all day. That takes too much away from the business owner. And the main objective of the business owner is to give more value out through the business idea. So literally dispatching trucks yourself would take energy away from source. See, we're supposed to hire people from all these departments.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I don't think that does take you away from source. Here, I'll tell you why. If I'm dispatching, excuse me, and I call up a broker and I'm talking to that broker about a load that's available. When I'm talking to him and I get done talking to him about the load, maybe we book it, maybe we don't. I'm going to open up a conversation with that broker about the types of carriers that he's working with and whether or not they have dispatchers or if any of them call up asking for assistance. I would ask him if he can give me some carrier MC numbers. Like I would ask him something, you know. Now people can say, oh, that's illegal. That's this, whatever, Mom. You don't know. You don't know. This is just me coming up with ideas of things that I would talk about to them if I called them that would allow me to get closer to source, but also market my business, right? Because if I'm asking those kind of questions, they're going to more than likely want to know. And then I can tell them it's a freight broker. Like, why wouldn't I want to do it that way too? That freight broker may be in a position where me doing that could get me some sort of relationship with the freight brokerage where now it grows. So I disagree that you can't market the business while you're doing it. I don't think that's true because right now I'm doing the business and this is a part of like, this would be sales. This would be operations because I'm actually producing something right now is going to go out to people. Although this would be a form of marketing, this honestly is like all of that. This is all of that in one. And so I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think so. I think that you could do it. And he is more saying this to make the case for what he would like for us to believe in with him.
It was never supposed to be one person working in all these departments. That creates misalignment, and that's not a scalable business model. You can't scale that business. And take it from me, if I'm dispatching 6 trucks by myself, that drains my energy, because dispatching all those trucks, it drains my energy, and it's literally taking energy out of the business idea and out of the marketing department, and that misaligns the business, and it decreases cash flow because energy is taken out of the source of the business, which is the business idea or the marketing department. So we got to literally think about each and every department and how I'm performing in each department. So, and I got a question: what kind of trucks does she dispatch? So she dispatched all types of trucks. She got some semi trucks, some with trailers. She has a power only unit. She has a few box trucks. So they're.
I don't like how he's saying she dispatches. She's not doing it. Y'all are doing it. You're managing the dispatching for her. She's not dispatching anything. He literally just spent this whole video talking about how important it is to go to source. But when somebody's asking, he shouldn't even start out by saying she dispatching. She's not. She don't even know about it. He already said she ain't learning it. They doing it. So what do you mean? Like, this is weird that he keeps saying she dispatching. She's not dispatching. Y'all doing that. So he should be saying we dispatch. Because the point of this video is for him to let other people know that you can come into this industry. His team and him will dispatch and do all of the work for you, when all you got to do is create videos, and then that gives them a higher percentage of the compensation. Because now they get a piece too. They got to. They getting a piece of what's going on. Trust me, that's why she's still working. That's why I was wondering why. Because there's a lot of bread. 144K is good. If she coming to somebody to try to learn about the okay. Now I get it, right? Now we get it. But we still got to see if they say the name of the company.
All different types of trucks. Whatever trucks came in that pipeline through the marketing department, she accepts. She gives her consulting services. So this is the future of business. Business is not about learning everything yourself or doing everything.
Wait a minute.
Accepts. She. Whatever trucks came in that pipeline through the marketing department, she accepts. She gives her consulting services. So this is the.
She gives her consulting services. What does that mean? That's what I'm saying. I think she told them to do this. I think she probably came up with this, which is probably why he not gonna say
whatever trucks came in that pipeline through the marketing department, she accepts. He
ain't gonna say the name.
Gives her consulting services. So this is the future of business. Business is not about learning everything yourself or doing everything yourself anymore. That's pretty much done with already. But it'll be so many people in the market that doesn't know that. So this is a decentralized. We're moving into the decentralized economies. The centralized economy was starting a business by yourself and running every department by yourself. Maybe years ago when the world was slower, that worked out. But what started happening, it created success, less and less, because so many things to do. Family life, how life gets busy. So it's just too much. So this is the future of business, where you just start a business, you make an investment, and you just make your videos, and that's pretty much it, $100,000. So it's just too much. So this is the future of business, where you just start a business, you make an investment, and you just make your videos, and that's pretty much it, 100,000.
So she paid him, and whatever his training cost, I'm thinking that she didn't want to give up that much money, and she wasn't going to be able to get any return on it because she's working. And so what they came up with was his team will manage whatever. She could do the advertising, and then his team will manage anything that comes in. So he got her to pay for the training, but she's not actually paying for training. She's paying for management. So she paid for that, and then she's getting, the money from the trucks, but they're also going to be getting a percentage of that too, because they're doing work. The money for the training, that doesn't get dispersed to all of the employees at the company. It's going straight to his pocket because it's his company. Their money for the agents, they get paid off of the trucks they dispatch.
Investment, and you just make your videos.
I like this.
That's pretty much.
I like that. This idea though, this concept is great. This is great. This is where you would end up at when you work with the right sort of person. They can help to manage it. So I'm glad that he's able to do this. This is amazing. This is amazing that he's able to create that sort of freedom for someone. What this tells me though, 12 trucks, that's a lot of trucks, man. That's a fleet. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a fleet of trucks right there. So having that many trucks, that means that the revenue ain't really there. Something ain't right, but it's because they on them load boards. I already know that. They on the load boards. He hasn't said anything about direct shipper relationships, so that tells me they're not doing that. They're not prospecting for direct relationships for their carriers. And when you're prospecting, you definitely want to go to the source. So there may be some things that Antoine doesn't understand about the industry. Yeah, maybe. It seems like it, because working through someone else will not get you, especially as a carrier, with the amount of expenses they have with the fuel right now, with the fuel, bro. Brokers don't care about no fuel. They don't care about the fuel prices. They be laughing. I worked at companies where they was laughing when drivers would call in. I would say like 3 or 4 years ago, I remember the gas prices was really high, and drivers would call in and they used to be begging for more money, man, begging for money. Some of them almost sound like they're about to be in tears, trying to get extra compensation to make up for. And man, these broker dudes I worked with used to be in there laughing. Man, this dude called, he was crying because man, they don't care. Broker doesn't care about what a carrier is going through, because that person at the brokerage that's working there, they're not the owner. They didn't start it. They're an employee. So they're not trained to have any sympathy for the carrier. They're not trained to identify where there's a misalignment in the relationship between you and the carriers, and they're not paid to seek solutions that will grow the carrier. Because brokers they'll work with any carrier as long as they meet the requirements, but that don't mean I'm gonna work with you for as long as you want me to work with you. Now that's up to the dispatcher now to be able to build direct relationships. But how can she build, or how can they be building direct relationships if the relationship that they're trying to build, it isn't even directly with who the carrier should be working with? It ain't at the source. So let's see. We're about to be through with this video. He ain't finna say it.
$100,000 a year, working 1 day a week, 12 trucks, only making videos, mainly in her company. Only videos. We handle her shit, $100,000 a year, working 1 day a week, 12 trucks, only making videos, mainly in her company. Only videos. We handle her sales calls.
100,000 a
We get her
year.
drivers signed up and onboarded, and we dispatch those drivers. That is the future. Any
So it's
questions, please let me know.
33
That's the future, and the future is here now.
per month. Hold on, let's pause.
So basically, this is what I've been doing behind the scenes, and
That's per month. So every month, if they said 100,000, every month is 83.33. Let's divide that by 12. So $694 per truck. So it's $694 a week per truck. Yeah. Hey, man. I guess, bro. 100,000 a year. I want to know what that percentage is. It's probably different for each one of the carriers too.
Seeing, bigger and better results than I ever seen in the whole time I've been helping people to launch dispatch businesses, because I have a better infrastructure. At first, I was just training people, mentoring people. Now, honestly, I don't even do that much training and mentoring because my team runs these dispatching businesses, so I don't have to sit down and teach people how to be dispatchers. Yeah, why am I teaching anybody how to be dispatchers anymore? I really don't do that with my members, right? Because I have dispatchers to work for them. So we can remove that part. So they don't even have to learn to be dispatchers. We just remove that period and they just focus on generating revenue instead of learning or being a dispatcher.
Mm.
So if you want to grow a big dispatching company, start with the business idea. That's what most people will miss. Most people will start with the dispatching because they'll think like an employee, but a founder or a business owner knows they have to start with the business idea, and that's what's going to make everything else happen in my business. So our businesses have to be in alignment, and it is a right way to launch any business. If you follow a set order of steps, see, now your business is in order. It needs to be in order, in alignment with source. And then when you have your business in alignment, everything just flows naturally. I have members in my program. They're getting drivers every week. Fleets are signing up with them. Fleet managers who maybe have 3, 5 trucks in their fleet are signing up with my members all at once. And everything's going to go back to the business idea. Their business idea is in the future. It's not in 2026. It's not with the market. It's not mimicking the market. It's what the market will be. That's where you want to start your business. You don't want to market as the market is now. You want to know where the market will be in the future, and you market from that point to align your business with the future and make it easy for you. If anyone wants to apply for my revenue launch system, you can click the link in the description of this video. Other than that, I have a 7 o'clock meeting with a member in my program in 9 minutes. So I got to get to the meeting. And that's pretty much what I do. I help people start their businesses from home. And throughout the day, I'm having meetings with different of my members. I have another member right now. He is signing up a fleet of trucks, and we're going to speak about getting that fleet onboarded. If you would like to speak with him or speak with the member who I have, she's dispatching 12 trucks, works 1 day a week. Click the link in the description, fill out the application. If you are accepted, you can be networking and become friends directly with these members I'm speaking about. Let's get it. Have a great day.
Gatekeeping. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Hey, look, man.
Hey, what's going on, dispatchers? It's your favorite freight dispatch trainer, Antoine West, back at you guys with another video. In today's
Hey, man, nah, we ain't finna do no hour. This guy
video, I'm going to be talking about how to start
ago.
a profitable dispatching business. And
man, you know what? I'm gonna say this video because I
in
feel like
2025. I know a lot of people watch my videos because
I'm gonna say this, bro. We gonna come back because I feel like this video is gonna sound like the one we just watched. So this is gonna be like a time machine. So the next video I do is gonna be on this video, reacting to it. Hey man, I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm always be fair. I'm always be impartial, and I'm biased in my informed opinion that I give about transportation. This is based on my direct experience working at freight brokerages, not as a dispatcher calling them up on the phone. I actually worked in offices in the United States, in downtown Chicago, with companies like Echo Global Logistics, Four Kites, Traffic Tech, Night Swift Logistics, Armstrong Transportation, Unishippers. Look them up. Those are massive companies. And I worked with them in carrier sales, account management, portal freight, you name it, I did it all up and through the brokerage. So whatever the information is you're getting from me is not because I learned about dispatching one day and somebody gave me a course and then I started coming up with these different ideas about what I think, because I knew not to do that. I knew that you have to work directly with the client. I was working at the brokerage. We was always working directly with the client. No broker would ever get shippers information from a carrier and allow the carrier to manage the relationship between the broker and the shipper. The broker would never do that. They would never do that. So why is a carrier doing it? And they both have the same authority. So boom shloom. I appreciate y'all, man. Yo, get in here, man. School.com/Team Regal Industries, teamregalindustries.com. Man, I got what you need. Carrier lists, scripts, psychology, how to break down your calls, how to influence and do conversational steering with shippers and with carriers. I have a process outlined to be able to help you to convert carriers in a proper way by channeling them through a system. And then, yo, we get that bread. So holla at me. Team Regal Industries, man. I love y'all. Peace.